By now you've had some great practice with these question walkthroughs. Let's just dive in for this one. The CIO of a company is concerned about the security of the root user of their AWS account. How can the CIO ensure the root account follows the best practices for securely logging in? As you can see, this stem wants you to pick two answers out of the responses. Keep in mind that there is no partial credit on the exam, so when you come across questions with multiple keys, be very careful to properly evaluate so that you are able to find all possible answers. This is asking you to identify the two responses that will help the CIO ensure best practices for securely logging in with the root user. That's it. The question gives you all of the information you need to start looking at the responses. And your responses are: A, enforce the use of an access key ID and secret access key for the root user logins. B, enforce the use of MFA for the root user logins. C, enforce the root user to assume a role to access the root user's own resources. D, enforce the use of complex passwords for member account root user logins. And E, enforce the deletion of the root account so that it can't be used. Okay, I'll give you some time now to evaluate and figure out if you can identify the keys. If you need more time, go ahead and pause now. I'm resuming in 3, 2, and 1. The keys for this item are B, enforce the use of MFA for the root user logins, and D, enforce the use of complex passwords for member account root user logins. Both of these methods will provide additional security for the root user of their AWS account, and these also are in line with security best practices. Though, just to be sure, let's go through the distractors. Starting with A, which recommends that you enforce the use of an access key ID and secret access key for the root user logins. You use an access key ID and secret access key to make programmatic requests to AWS. You should not use your AWS account root user access key. This method gives the root user full access to all resources for all AWS services in the account, including the billing information. And the permissions for this access method cannot be reduced. For response C, you have enforced the root user to assume a role to access the root user's own resources. This is incorrect because the root user cannot assume a role to its own account. Roles are used for services within the account and third-party access to other AWS accounts. And last is E, which proposes you enforce the deletion of the root account so that it can't be used. This will not work because if the root account is deleted, all resources will be deleted. If this happens, you're no longer running environments in AWS. All right, that's enough from me for now. I'll talk to you soon.